I'm Natasha Kaufman, and welcome to my podcast, Don't Just Talk, Say Something, Lessons on 20 Years of Business. Over the past 2 decades of running my public relations firm, NKPR, I'm so grateful to have met, worked with, and learned from so many talented industry leaders. And I'm so excited to be able to share their stories and life lessons with all of you on this podcast. When I launched NKPR, one of my founding principles was that I didn't want to work with assholes. And it's important to me that I surround myself and my team with people that I respect and care for. On this episode, I'm joined by power couple Yannick and Shantelle Bisson, who exemplify the type of people I want to be around. They're super accomplished in their respective careers, philanthropic, loyal, and kind. I am privileged to not only have had the opportunity to work with them, but to form a meaningful and significant friendship with both of them. Today, we'll discuss why we choose to surround ourselves with the people that we do and how that impacts us personally and professionally. And yes, things get very emotional. Here's our conversation. Shantelle and Yannick, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yay! The way I kind of wanted to start this was, let's tell our listeners how we first met. Because we've met a couple of times.
Yeah.
We certainly knew of each other, but we really sort of connected philanthropically first. Do you remember you guys came to the house and it was an APJ, it was like a brunch first.
I think the first time I remember meeting you was at your offices when you were doing the TIFF. The TIFF events where you would have gifting.
Oh, yeah.
And how we ended up there was because we had been working with Camp Ooch through Michaela's high school. So when we got to the gifting, your IT lounge, we made the connection that you were connected to Camp Uchigeas. And then through that, we started talking philanthropically. But then we kind of didn't really, we've always known about you, obviously. You're a powerhouse.
We had met before
at events
socially.
At events. Yes.
Paths cross, nod, hi, how are you? And so obviously we knew of you. And so it was like that IT lounge kind of
put the pieces together. And then it was a few years after that that I went on Instagram and I just was obsessed with you. So I just slid into your DMs like a guy.
So funny.
I did.
Well, and you guys came over. Remember, it was a lunch that we had just before APJ. Actually, you came over, and we became fast friends instantly.
Yeah.
And
thanks to my wife.
Yes.
Never would have talked to me otherwise.
That's not true. But I remember she was like, I'm like, well, what are you going to wear tonight? She's like, I'm not sure. And I gave you a pair of shoes. Yeah. So I'm like, these would be perfect.
Yeah. And that was after we started having a love affair on Instagram.
That's true. Yeah. It's interesting, actually. Which makes me think I'm an introvert. And I can tell you, socially we met many times before, but because it's always a bigger setting, I don't do well in those.
The crush, I don't do well in those either. So.
And you sort of meet, you talk, but you're not connecting.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, to your point, through social media where you're having a little bit, and this sounds bizarre, you're having a meaningful conversation, but we were.
Yeah.
And then you guys came over, and then I felt, these are my people, because you can actually connect properly as opposed to the social,
I panic in social settings. Yannick can attest to, I ditched him on more social events for a good long time till I settled into myself as a human being.
Yeah.
But I just hated them, and even on the day of, I would ditch him, and one of the girls would have to go in and do stand-in because I dread them.
I do
all the reasons.
Necessity as well. It's not really my thing. I never really got into my profession to socialize or to be at these events. Sure, you go to an awards show or something like that. That's meaningful. That's cool, and you run into people you know. But just for the sake of it, sometimes, unless it's for a very meaningful cause, I just pass because I just don't feel comfortable. And then this was really an exception, connecting I think, kind of in spite of what we put on as our outer sort of self, I thought the world of you once I got to know you. It was...
because there was always the admiration of who you were in business, right?
Yeah.
And who you were in the scope of not only the Toronto entertainment industry and PR, but, certainly nationally for us. So we'd always held you in high regard. So we had, affection for you.
I even tried to work with you prior to all of that. I tried to hire your firm to work with you.
You didn't win the bid.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. I can't remember what happened. I have no memory of that at all.
Well, I think in fairness to Natasha, you're up until that point, you definitely were corporate PR, more
Absolutely.
company and not so much celebrity. And I think as the advent or as social media took off and you were able to build your personal brand to mirror what the company was doing, I think that was when it clicked for you that, I can take what I'm doing with my personal brand to grow my company brand and attribute that to somebody like a Yannick and to a Shantelle. And I think it made more sense at that point.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That is true. That is absolutely true. When you think about, growth, and when you think about, both of you, you're one of the biggest actors, certainly in Canada, if not beyond, on the longest running TV show in Canadian history. Shantelle, an acclaimed author, a businesswoman, entrepreneur with, everything that you've done with Chantilly's Place is really incredible. I think Chantilly's Place is going to be the next Max Milk, but better, because actually the food is good.
Yeah, the food is good.
What do you look for?
That's where I had my first job at Max Milk.
It was, actually.
Yeah. Funny enough. Sorry.
That's so funny. What do you look for, with the people that you partner with and the companies that you partner with, because you are investors in a lot of different businesses as well? Because I felt like this episode should be very much around, we get to pick and choose who we work with and what we work on. So how do you align that and what matters to you?
I love that we're speaking on this, because really every day I'm extremely grateful for the position that I am in, that I'm an entrepreneur, that I'm my own business person, that I have that great luxury, because so often many of us don't have, that's not afforded to us, because we have to work for who we work for. We have to work with who we work with, and we're kind of stuck just because of life circumstance. So it's not lost on me what an incredible privilege it is that I am able to be selective of who I align myself with. So when brands that I work with at Chantilly's Place, and even young people that I hire at Chantilly's Place, I look for staff that has initiative, that has taken initiative, that reaches out to us before we say, hey, we're looking to hire. I always give that person an edge, because that's what you need in life, right? To build. And we were talking about this a little bit last night about Kim Kardashian, but it's a reality. Those people that take the initiative, that are out front of other people, that's the kind of person I am. So I respect and admire, and I know that my company is going to be in good hands if everybody who's under me has that same natural mentality, not something that I'm trying to put into them, right? So when somebody comes to me and they apply and they show that they already have those qualities and those character traits, they're getting a job, unless they totally blow their interview or unless personality-wise we clash. But so that's really important. And as far as brands and things that I sell and what I carry, I look for companies that have a mission mindset, not just a profit mindset, because a lot of companies are in it just to make money. I always look to what is behind the company. Like, are they family owned? Are they, do they have a long history of being family owned? What do they do for their communities? So that means a lot to me. Like, for example, like the ice company that we use at Chantilly's. It was the first ice company ever created in Ontario.
Okay, what is it?
Highland Ice. And it started in the late 1800s, and they made ice blocks for people that needed to keep their. So it's or early 1900s, sorry, but they have a great history. So, for example, Uncortha Dairy is our ice cream of choice because, again, it's family owned. They've never expanded outside of, the little part of Ontario where they make the ice cream. So that's important for me. And as far as who I work with when I'm doing my publishing of my books and my cards and stuff like that, it's very similar thing. Somebody with the mindset of they want to bring hope to the world and hope to people who are struggling or suffering or whatever, and we're all aligned with, even if we help 10 people, we've helped 10 more than if we didn't. And again, just not being so focused on results, not result driven, but more like impact driven.
Oh, that actually is super interesting. That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Yannick? Like, you have so many interesting deals, and certainly you guys have invested in a lot of different companies. What do you look for?
Well, I think the thing I could probably speak to the most with the most conviction is the way I work on my show. We have people that have been there since the very first day, including myself. So department heads and key people that have been there since the first day. And, well, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually have in my contract that if we are to change out a key person, I have to weigh in. I effectively don't come back unless the key people that were there the year prior that I okayed come back. So it's a very important thing for me to how we work, who I align myself with, who is similar to what Shantelle said, results people that are can-do people that are able to go even beyond the wealth of talent that they have because of their attitude. And I think that's the biggest thing I can attribute the success of the show to, is that, I've worked hard, we all have worked hard to cultivate that culture, that attitude, that sort of team mentality. So, it's very apropos to what you're talking about here and what you've done. Because if that's always your focus, the fruit is always going to be better. Instead of mining good fruit, you're mining great people, great atmosphere, and as Shantelle said, the people below you, or not technically the people below you, you're raising them up to be with you. And so that's really what I focus on. And then as far as alignment with brands, I mean, you've been a huge help with that because of your mindset, and I defer to you on a lot of these things to help me make decisions. But when we look at, okay, there's X amount of money to be made, you could pick 10,000 different stocks, startups, ventures, and that goes for scripts as well. And the people that submit these scripts to you, and the people that you then in turn take that script and bring to as a pitch or the room that you're bringing it into in order to take it to the next level. It's so often about the people. I had a great opportunity over the past couple of years, and it took literally that much to bring it over the line. It was a script that was written by the three brothers, and it had all the right stuff. And unfortunately, the relationship part wasn't there. I couldn't make that part work, and so it just didn't work out. So we had to move on to the next thing.
But it wasn't meant to work out, and I think that's really important too. It's like knowing when to walk away from something is a big part of that. We talked earlier about time. Time is our only commodity. And so you really need to pick and choose who and what you spend time on.
That's it.
How do you balance? I mean, you're parents, you're now grandparents, you have very busy careers. Most people are always struggling to balance their life. How do you, what's your secret?
Well, for me personally, because I was running on fumes and burning out and not enjoying my life on any level, even though physically I love my marina, right? I love Chantilly's place and I love being there and I love getting it up and running and I love winding it. I love every aspect of it. I love sourcing product. And then also with writing my books and, you know, expanding that brand with merchandise and cards and all the things, I found I wasn't finding any joy in either of them because I was not putting myself first. So what I've done in the past year and has been a huge game changer is I start my days with me. So I get up earlier than I would like. I do morning readings, morning meditations. I do my either yoga or workout.
Talk about your journal. Your journal
Yeah,
has been a big help for me.
Yeah, I journal. I use my journal.
Yeah.
I actually use my journal
She
every
does.
day.
Yeah.
And I love it. And
Yeah, your
I'm not just saying
journal's great.
I
No.
love it because it's my journal. I wrote it. I've been journaling forever. And when I created this journal, I took the elements of the things that really helped me make a shift and I put them into this particular journal. So I'm glad you love it. And I hope other people who are listening love it.
Well, I love that it's a 90-day journal because sometimes a journal, like you have journals where there's no sort of time on them and sometimes you don't write in them, you just sort of forget about them.
Yeah.
I like that it's sort of holding you accountable to like those 90 days. It's a great journal.
Well, because you can't change if you're not consistent.
Yeah.
Right? Consistency is the big thing that changes the wiring
Yeah.
and the patterns that we have within ourselves. And I needed it for myself, that accountability. And I also like that it's weekly, right? So
Yeah.
you pick your word of the week and you're supposed to focus on that
Yeah.
word. And so that practicing what I preach has made a world of difference. And I've also relinquished the everything that's on the list must get done in the day. And I take time now. I do Wednesdays is like a full-on Wednesday wellness day for myself. And it's made it's made it a lot easier. And I'm also now separating out my year. So come, end of April, book stuff Without Losing Your Cool stuff is done. Like the podcasts are already all recorded. So I can focus and enjoy every moment of Chantilly's, which goes from May to November. And then come November, I'll start book number 4, and I'll get back in. If there's any new branding or any new products that I want to introduce to Without Losing Your Cool, I'll do it then. So I've actually compartmentalized my careers and my businesses because it helps me enjoy them more.
It's interesting what you were saying, that the name of your next book is all about loving yourself, correct?
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about. It's like you have to love yourself and find joy within yourself before you can actually sort of think about all the other things that you need to do.
Well, and honor yourself. I mean, it's corny, right? And it's so funny because I just was editing the part of the book that's about time. But it's really like listen to your own desires and your own intuition. And the only thing you can't go back and create more of is time.
Yeah.
So
it's an active thing.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself and sort of leading your time toward what fills you instead of what depletes you is an active thing. You have to sort of do it. I read something recently, and it's a bit of a hardline point of view, but it brought some things home for me. It was, you have roughly 4,600 weeks to get it all done. It's like harsh. It's harsh and not the way I want to look at things. However, it does force you to actively look at what is on your plus list and what is on your minus list.
Yeah.
And like Shantelle said, all of a sudden getting crushed by all of your commitments does force a catalyst where you have to make a decision. And in my line of work, we are managed to the 6-minute increment, like quite literally based on ACTRA, which is the Actors Union, Directors Guild, which is the Directors Union, and then there's IA and all the different guilds. Everything is rounded to the 3 or 6 or 8-minute increment. And so quite literally, every minute of your day is managed. So when I get sort of on my own, I don't want to have a schedule. I'm late to things or I'm last minute
I feel the same way. I'm with you.
So
when you're on vacation, the best part is you're not scheduled. You can
Yes.
do whatever
Exactly.
you want, whenever you want. No one's telling you where to be. It's the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my little rebellion. But I started to look at that 4,600 number and looking at, okay, so what are all the things I love doing?
Yeah.
What are all the things that I enjoy doing? What are the things I need to do? And what are the things that I just have to do that I hate? And trying to get a little bit better of a balance
yeah.
going with that has been good, especially this last year and this coming year where we're doing 24 episodes of Murdoch, which is unprecedented. It really becomes important. So when we have a vacation, it needs to be a vacation, not a touring or touristing.
Totally.
Which is exhausting.
Well, good thing Europe's not really open for us anyway. So.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, your last vacation, I felt like we lived vicariously through you, and it really felt like a vacation. But I feel like I could really use that. What do you love to do? What do you need to do? What don't you really love doing? I love that.
Well, I had to
actually
do that because on top of what I do for my own ambitions that are, passions for me, I also manage our companies and I manage our bank accounts and I do our bills. And I was just like, I hate that. Like, I hate that. If I'd wanted to be an accountant or a bookkeeper, I would be one, right?
And there are people that are infinitely better at that stuff than we are. Right?
And so that was also a big thing. That started a couple years ago. I said,
yeah,
we make enough money.
Yeah. Give that to someone else.
Do that to someone else.
Yeah.
And now I'm lucky if I spend, when I'm running Chantelle's, obviously it's more, but like 4 to 6 hours a week doing that kind of stuff.
That's a really good point. When I started in KPR, I hired someone to do the bookkeeping like right away and sort of all of the stuff I didn't like to do because I was just like, I only have a certain amount of time. I want to focus on working on the business, which I really love, and working with my clients. And the other stuff I always hired people for. People were always surprised, well, why was your first hire like basically an assistant bookkeeper? And I'm like, that's why, because I don't want to do that stuff. And so I think you when you're starting a business or working in a business, really think about what you're good at, what you like doing, and the things that you don't, which is applying exactly what you said, Yannick, like to your overall life. I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Favorite memory, our favorite memory together.
God, we have so many.
We do. We have so many.
We really have. We have so many philanthropic memories.
Yeah.
So that has a special place in my heart. We have so many special event memories, parties, and then we have personal memories.
Yeah. We have a lot.
You and I have a lot of personal.
That's true.
Okay, you share yours
I have
first.
two highlights. I mean, I have a lot of highlights, but sort of two that come to mind. I mean, yes, we have many highlights and lowlights too.
Yeah.
But
But the lowlights turned out to be highlights.
for sure. One was, I remember it was our first Artists for Peace and Justice Gala together. And Sean Penn gave this very moving speech about, the fact that we have this opportunity to show up for others, people that we don't even know, and the vulnerability to really be connected to making a difference in someone's life that you've never met. And that's what we do with APJ. Mm-hmm. And then the second moment that stands out for me, we went on a road trip to in Southern California, and just being in that car, and we were like singing to like Jesse's Girl. I mean, we sing to Jesse's Girl a lot because Rick is a good friend of yours, and just having so much fun. We just always have fun together. I think that's the thing. And when we talk about the people that bring you joy, and you have people that deplete your energy, and then people that give you energy. I feel like whenever I'm with you, it's just joy and fun. So I mean, those are there's lots of moments, but those are certainly two of them that
well, I'd have to say then we share one, because that road trip was so much fun.
It was. It
was so much fun. And I just I like the quiet, because you're so busy, and you've got so many people that are, I mean, like when I see your emails are like 94,000 emails or whatever, I want to have a heart attack. So I'm always cognizant of how much people need from you or take from you. So anytime I get with just you is like a gift, a treasure. So I just remember specifically like walking along Carmel State Beach. I thought that was so beautiful to have that time, and just like the dinners we had, and just that ability to have you shut off and just be your authentic Natasha, which you are. I don't mean that like you're inauthentic when you're at events, but you're on, right? Like, and you're working.
It is different. It's not being not authentic, but you're on. It's a very different,
Totally.
same you, but different.
Yeah.
You have a bit more guard around you. It is different. You guys know that. You do the same thing.
And then I would have to say that my other favorite memory with you, or time with you, and it's not just actually one, it kind of straddles all of them, but just how becoming, and I'm going to get emotional, but becoming friends with you and becoming close with you has enabled me to step into my confidence a lot more, because you're so confident and you're so faithful and you're so assured that for me, like things that are, just a natural for you, like, and it may sound fluffy, but it means a lot to me, like style and just business. Like I feel like just being your friend is a beautiful memory, because it's given me so much.
We are getting really emotional here.
It has given me a lot as a woman, and as a person. So.
Well, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I feel that.
I suppose it's my turn.
We're crying.
I think I don't want to compare best memories and highlights as much as the things that were the most meaningful to me.
See, we're all us creative people.
I know. Oh my
this
God.
This took a turn.
I know.
Natasha's like, I'm doing a business podcast. We can we're like, no, you're not. You're doing an emotional podcast.
That's right. A couple of times that I can recall very vividly, I got on the phone to you, and these were very, very difficult moments. I don't want to be dramatic, but very difficult moments as a human, as a professional, as a business person, and we weren't even really working together at the time, and you were on the phone with me immediately. Let's talk. Let's sort this out. Let's work through it. And there's no questions asked. You are a true, genuine true, genuine friend. And I think the thing about that, what you taught me over the past few years that I didn't know I was going to learn, that I didn't know would be so important, is that I could be me as a public figure. I thought I had to be something else. And I really feel like everything changed since I met you. I'm able to be me, and there's a huge weight off my shoulders that I didn't know. So thank you for that, and all the great times. I mean, you're a foodie.
I am.
You love to shop.
Yeah,
I do love it. We love to shop together.
I mean, how
our shopping trips are some of my favorite.
I know, but we don't want to sound shallow, so we can leave with those.
We do love those, though. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that about being you. I often say that our greatest individual superpower it's ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, and so if you can feel comfortable enough to be able to show the world who you are, that's the greatest gift you can give everybody. And so thank you for saying that. I mean, I love you both, so that's just, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, let's take it.
I end the podcast always with this question, which I've had some really funny ones. You guys get to ask me one thing you don't know about me, and you know almost everything about me. or something that you want to know that you don't know, or something you've always wanted to ask me that you've never asked.
Very brave of you.
I know. Well, I can tell you, I've had like questions like, how many times have you been married? Because I understand it's a lot.
I know that answer.
Yeah. I've had what's my favorite food. I've had lots of, and I've had, you know, how did I get started in the business? So lots of different questions. But go for it. It's your time. You can ask anything, and I'm honest. I'll answer.
Okay, she's in the hot seat. Okay, I have to think about this a lot because I do know.
Okay, I'll ask you.
Yeah.
What made you decide and when that it would be all black all the time? Because I've adopted a lot of this because I think it's super cool, and man, does it make my life easier.
He does. He talks about it all the time.
So, but then I think to myself, well, I admire it, I emulate it, but where did it come from and when?
It started when I started NKPR actually, and at least it started consistently when I started NKPR. Before that, I would certainly wear black and I would buy color. I wouldn't necessarily wear it, but I was working with CABC at the time. It was a financial institution. A lot of corporate clients, a lot of men. And I felt that I wanted my ideas to stand out, and I didn't want clothing to distract. So I would wear black turtlenecks and black pants. I literally had a full wardrobe of theory black turtlenecks and theory black pants. It's all I wore.
Well, things have changed.
Things have changed, that's true. Yes. But the black stayed because it just became less of a distraction initially. And I just didn't want clothing to distract because I would go into meetings and girls would be wearing like, you know, pink and baby blue little sweater sets and all that stuff. And I was just like, it's just not me, and I want to be taken seriously. And I was usually one of the youngest people at the corporate table. I was working really closely with the CEO, John Hunkin at the time, and I remember the CMO, Stephen Graham at the time, and I just felt I needed to be taken seriously. And so that's how it started. And then I realized that if I ever did buy color, it would just sit in my wardrobe. I never wore it. Because I think some things are really beautiful in color, but on me, I just never felt confident. And what I realized was clothing is an opportunity to feel confident. And
it really is.
I wouldn't wear dresses to this day to a board meeting or to a pitch meeting. I only wear pants, but I wear dresses in the evening. So I started to realize like what kind of makes me feel like my most confident self. And so that's how it started. So it would act as less of a distraction. Now I just find really, really great clothes in black.
In black.
It's not theory so much anymore.
It's not theory anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of in that vein, if you weren't the PR maven that you are for Canada, what would you be doing instead?
I think probably something in the fashion space. I just really love it.
You're really good at it.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I'd love to be a personal shopper. I just think it'd be really fun. Something to do probably with fashion in some way. I just really, really, I mean, you guys have gone shopping with me. I really love it.
Yeah.
It's what I do when I come home at night, or in the design space, like I love interiors as well.
That's true too.
You know, that whole sort of anything creative, interior design, fashion design, something in that space, I just think, and doing it for others. I really love that. Like now that like my home is designed, I want to do it for somebody else. But I'm not an interior designer. I just wanted I'll find, and I've done this with you, where I'm like, ooh, do you like the settee? Or do you remember when we shopped for your condo?
Yeah.
We went over to South Hill, and we're like that was like I think one of the greatest days of my life. Like it's just so fun, right, to do that stuff. When we went to Carmel, we went to those antique shops.
That's
like
right,
it's just I love doing that so much. In fact, what I would love to do is if we go to Paris one day together, to go to the flea market in Paris. Like that would be so fun. So I think, I'd be a personal shopper for decor
Left
or
back, we'll go hit all the small
yeah.
shops.
Oh my gosh, so that was super fun. I mean, emotional and fun.
Sorry.
No. It was wonderful, actually. Thank you both so much for joining me and being such a big part of our 20th anniversary and this journey that we call life. It's interesting. We're in our 20th year at NKPR, but I'm excited. Excited to spend the rest of my life with you both. So thank you. Thank you both so much. Mwah. Wow, we certainly went through a lot of tissues in that one. I'm so grateful to have both Shantelle and Yannick in my life, and I'm grateful for all of you for listening. I always love hearing from you. Feel free to DM me at Natasha NKPR, and don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review and rating. Until next time.